Oh, hi there. No, this isn't Cribs Photographer's Edition. Let me grab my tripod. We're going on a little trip, just down to the edge of the deck. So like I said earlier, we have a really long journey just down the end of the porch, down the steps today, to film and photograph this gorgeous cherry tree that's in full bloom before a spring storm system comes through and takes every one of these gorgeous flowers off. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks. Beautiful tree, short duration for opportunities to photograph. So we're gonna work this tree. Shelly's already working it back there in the background. Wave, Shelly. So it's nice that it's really local, really close to home. In fact, right off the porch. So I've got a composition set up here on the back of the camera. I've got the close-up filter on my 70 to 300, and I'm not zoomed all that far in. I think, in fact, let me check real quick. I'm only at about 70 millimeters. I'm a little bit closer than 70 millimeters. I know that because I zoomed it. So it's going to be interesting how this turns out. It looks really cool. Even though this is a semi-slow glass, you know, it doesn't have a 2.8 aperture. With that close-up lens on, everything blurs out. So I'm going to try to get this group of flowers in focus and blurred out. And I'd show you a video of it, but I think you can see it. It's right here. This one's the one I'm shooting. So everything behind it's going to blur out. If it quits moving on me. Need to move over just a little bit. There we go. Now with that wind blowing, the focal plane changes so fast on it. That it makes it a little bit of a challenge to get the image. Okay, so for composition number one, I was set up on the tripod and didn't realize that I had my stabilization on the lens turned on. So I think that's gonna come out a little blurry. It may make a really cool out of focus image, especially close up. So I took the camera off the tripod, tried to do some handheld stuff, had to crank the ISO up to 400, and I was able to get a shutter speed that I should be able to shoot with. The problem is with that close up lens attached to the front, you literally have to sway with the branch to try to keep it in focus. So there again, there may not be anything in focus correctly on it. So I'm going to shift gears, and I know we've got a few tulips going in the yard, so I'm going to find a couple of those, get down low, hopefully closer to the ground. The wind won't be bothering the flower as much, so that I can actually get some shots. So here is composition number one, and a few that I shot handheld, and one that I shot on the tripod after I turned my VR stabilization off on the lens.
So after reviewing my photographs in Lightroom, I came to the conclusion that most of the handhelds just weren't what I was looking for on that day. This is the second attempt at the first composition with the VR turned off on the tripod. I think it's a little bit cleaner than the first shot that you saw. Tell me what you think in a comment down below. Number 1 had VR on, number 2 had VR turned off.
We're really close to the road now. Hopefully you can hear me. We've got some red tulips that have some gold down inside the flower petal at the base near the stamen. There's a little bit of wind over here still, and I'm starting to wonder if my 70-300 is shot. From the back of the camera, things don't look so focused to me. I may take the close-up lens off and shoot this again, but I just shot a bracketed set on this flower, and I can see the detail inside of it, but it's just a little bit out of focus. It's either that or I've got a nasty migraine started because of the storm that's on its way. Here are those photos, and if I take another bracketed set without it, or I swapped it out for the 85 1.8, I'll show those to you next.
So it turns out on that day, I did have a migraine, a really nasty migraine. I don't know why I try to work through these things, but usually doing photography and YouTube videos, I'm fine with. I just couldn't focus my eyes enough to see that this shot was what I wanted. This was done with the 70-300 mil, and I don't think I'd change a thing with it. I think it actually turned out pretty well. Leave me a comment down below with the shot that you think was the best, and give me some comments and some feedback as to why. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time.